This is Jorge. We took him from a 6-week dry spell to being able to close 4 deals with a projected $182,000 in projected assignment fees at a 12.7x return on his ad spend in just 8 weeks of working with us. And the craziest part is we did all of this while spending half of what he was spending doing direct mail in one of the toughest markets in the entire country, that being Miami, Florida. But before we go any further, I want to jump over to the iPad and actually verify with you and show you exactly what it took to make this happen. With that said, let's jump over to the iPad. As you can see on the top right here, we see the date. Now, this was his first month of working with us, and I took a screenshot of it, and he was only at $260 cost per lead, 23 leads, a 22% conversion rate on his landing page. We'll talk more about how we got these metrics here shortly. And finally, he was only spending about $6,000 in his first month with us. And with that, he closed a $55,000 deal. This was his first 30 days working with us because he closed it like the same week, 7 to 14 day closing. And the second deal he got with us, which was, I believe, last week or end of June, is $95,000 right here. So there's the proof, there's the revenue. Let's actually jump into the actual metrics. So as you can see at the time of this recording, or screenshot if you would, Tuesday, June 16th. 2 months in, we spent a little over $14,000 at a $240 cost per lead. His cost per contract is $3,500 for 4 contracts. And out of that, he got $182,000 in revenue. As you just saw, $150,000 of it has actually hit his bank account already, which is a projected 12.7 return on his ad spend. So what that means is for every $10,000 he's putting in, he's getting $127,000 out back into his company and his bank account. So here's the deal that you just saw that closed on June 11th. I like to share proof with you. That way you could see what's actually going on within our Slack channels with our clients. So June 11th, a $95,000 assignment fee, which is the same thing as this one right here. So you could see that that deal closed June 11th, right? Or he got it under contract June 11th, but it actually sold towards the end of June. So a little over a few weeks ago. But I want to mention something very, very important. These are all local Miami-Dade markets. He is not targeting any other markets besides Miami-Dade / Broward. Knowing that, it is also one of the most expensive and competitive markets in the entire country. And the craziest part is he got all these results in the first 3 to 4 weeks. Now, if you don't believe it from me, hear from Jorge directly, talking about his deals.
I didn't want to tell you anything because I was like, let's lock it up. Let's lock in a buyer, let me not jinx anything. But week 1 deal, right? Second week, next deal. And I knew this one was going to be a banger. Huge lot, legal additional dwelling unit, which is big down here because people like renting these things out for buy and hold. That's a 50K rip right there.
Now that you're able to see the proof and the results, I actually want to share with you where Jorge was at before working with us. Maybe you're in a similar situation to him and you can possibly relate to where he was at before working with us.
Here's the thing. I've had a really bad dry spell for the past month and 7 days. So nothing locked up in March where we were averaging 2 deals a month for the team that we have and the mailers that we're sending out. And I started thinking like I need to expand channels, right? I need to start testing other things, and I owe it to my people, and also the leads that we're getting in. I mean, we're getting calls. We still got like 30 something calls in March, and we just got like 11 calls in the past 7 days from direct mail, but they're not quality leads. So I'm starting to explore various marketing channels, and hey, PPC is one of them. I have heard that it's very difficult in the Miami-Dade marketplace. So to me, the service provider that I'm going to choose to work with is the one that makes me feel the most confident that they have the best strategy to really help our investment. Like, dude, I'm not here driving a Lambo. None of us are, right? We're still starting this from the ground up. We're 8 months in. I need someone that can help me open this marketing channel in an effective way where I just don't burn through $30,000 in the next 3 to 4 months,
First, Jorge wasn't actually alone because his partner has 9 years of real estate investing and wholesaling experience.
I've been doing this business for 8 months. My partner's been in the industry for about 9 years, so he's got the experience. He's has helped shape everything, really. And then I've run high performing teams for tech companies for a long time. So that's been my whole career.
But what you didn't know is that Jorge is not wholesaling full-time. He also has a primary 9-to-5 job where he serves as a director of cybersecurity, where he leads a high-performance team of over 20 people.
I also have a job as a director of cybersecurity for a tech company. So this is kind of a part-time thing for me, but really a full-time because I work from home. So as you see me right now, I've got 3 screens set up. I'm here working one job and try to decipher and mature vulnerability management program. And then here I'm trying to wholesale deals and improve our processes.
And when it comes to targeting, Jorge's only going after properties in Miami-Dade and Broward County, so specifically Southern Florida, nothing else.
Now we got to stick to Miami-Dade and Broward because we a lot of our business model is in person. Like this guy really sells himself in person.
I see. Perfect. That's very good to know.
Jorge also used to heavily rely on direct mail. Here's his experience with it and why he switched over.
Now we're spending about $13,000 a month with him doing 15,000 mailers.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I've had a really bad dry spell for the past month and 7 days. So nothing locked up in March, where we were averaging 2 deals a month for the team that we have and the mailers that we're sending out.
And the biggest constraint that Jorge and his entire team was running into is lead quality and channel concentration. He had a great closer, him and his team can close, however, they don't have anybody to close, which is why they were struggling to scale.
We haven't been getting him good distressed leads. We've been getting the medium to lower motivation and tire kickers.
Interesting.
But if you put a distressed lead in front of him, we've been fine-tuning our scripts and process for the past 3.5 months together, and I think he's going to have a very nice closure rate.
Now that you understand the operator and leader behind the company, I actually want to share with you his numbers before working with us. And pay close attention. You may be running to these exact same numbers without knowing that you're running your business into the ground. As previously mentioned, he was doing direct mail, spending about $13,000 per month, sending about 15,000 mailers, and only getting a 0.4% response rate. From that, he maybe was getting 2 deals per month in Q1, and some of his KPIs is that he was getting a $27,000 average assignment fee. His cost per deal was a whopping $4,500. His cost per deal is an insane $6,500, and his ROAS is only 3.6x, which he would consider barely staying in business. In addition to that, Jorge went through a 6-week dry spell because nothing closed in March of 2026 because he was getting tire kickers and low motivation and urgency leads. As Jorge would say, a killer closer with nothing to close affected the morale of his team, and he knows that he owes it to his team to be able to generate qualified leads and actually close deals to pay them.
We haven't been getting him good distressed leads. We've been getting the medium to lower motivation and tire kickers. But if you put a distressed lead in front of him, we've been fine-tuning our scripts and process for the past 3.5 months together, and I think he's going to have a very nice closure rate.
Then after our conversation discussing these metrics of where he was at before working with us, hear from him directly as to why he decided to partner with us here at Both Deals.
Your ads.
Okay.
You got me.
Okay.
You got me with your ads. They were good. You hooked me with your ads. And to me, if you've hooked me with your ads, you're doing something right. Okay. So I said, I need to have a conversation with these guys. I remember speaking with you, and I liked that.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, I'm coming from having a bad experience with direct mail. That experience drastically shifted when I turned to a company that where I had direct access to the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And so to me, when I have direct access to the person that runs the company, it means a lot. I was going back and forth between you and another company. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm lying back in my couch at night, and I'll turn on YouTube, and your podcast with Steve Trang pops up. I was like, hey, let me watch this. Especially if he's gonna be running my ads. I was like really motivated. Like who is Ben? The fact that you're on disruptors, right? Yeah. But I decided if I'm placing a bet, I'm doing it on you. I feel like I have a true partner, right, in PPC, and that that means the world, right? So knowing that we have support from you guys, which is what we need.
Yeah.
And if I have a question of why is something
is either not going right, or now we're looking at expanding into another county, I know that I can go on Slack, ask the question, and someone's going to be there to respond and guide me in the right direction.
Great. Now that you understand who he is, where his business was at before working with us, why he decided to work with us, and proof of the results, let me share with you exactly what it took on our end and his end to achieve these results consistently. But before launching any marketing campaign, something that's incredibly important to understand is the fundamentals and the strategy. And here's what I mean. I break this down as the money models and projection. Money model, the way I define it, is understanding the economics of your business, your cost, your average profit per deal, and your conversion rates so you can accurately project what your returns would look like. So here's how we do it. On the initial call with Jorge, obviously he gave us some metrics down here. He was doing 2 deals per month at an average of a $27,000 assignment fee, so his business was maybe making around $50,000 per month. Good, but not great. He was spending $13,000 per month for a $6,500 cost per deal at a $4,500 cost per contract. His lead to contract was 6 closed on 8 contracts, so not bad. His ROAS was only 3.6, and as he mentioned, his biggest constraint was that he was only reliant on one single marketing channel, and the lead quality was not that great. So after working with us, he was spending about $14,300, which, as you can see, is 45% less than what he was spending with direct mail in the same 60 days. 59 leads at a $242 cost per lead. His cost per MQL, the way we operate here at Both Deals is we focus on MQL. And MQL is a marketing qualified lead. And the reason why tracking this metric gives us an advantage over other agencies and how they operate is because we're focused on targeting people and generating more people who actually need to sell as opposed to just wanting to sell. We're not optimizing for the most amount of conversions, most amount of lead submissions within your campaign. We're focused on the most amount of people that actually become appointments and people you can make offers to. That's the biggest difference, and that's how we're able to get these type of results so consistently across all of our clients. And if you don't believe me, just go on my Instagram stories and you'll see me posting them almost every single day. And then his lead to contract rate was 1 out of 15. It's a little high. We definitely want to get that down under 1 out of 10. But granted, his revenue he's generated so far is $182,000 at a $45,000 average assignment fee on each deal at a 12.7x ROAS, right? And the way we did this is by understanding where his business was at, industry benchmarks and averages, and then from there being able to project where his business is going to be at for the next 3, 6, or even 12 months of working with us. Because when we have a call with clients, especially like I did with Jorge, I want to be able to take the industry knowledge and data that we have internally and show him. I'm like, hey, you're in this market, you will have to understand that it's a pretty competitive market, and if these are your sales KPIs and this is what we're spending, here's how much your business is projected to close and make in revenue. With that said, is that something you're comfortable with? And obviously for him, the answer is yes, because they didn't really have another option. And because of that, when you understand the metrics and you partner with somebody who has the data to back it up, these are the type of results you get. So with that said, now that we understand the money models as well as projections, and we got his sign off and aligned expectations, let's go into the campaign. As you saw, markets, he's only doing Miami-Dade and Broward County. So Miami-Dade, obviously we have multiple campaigns. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 campaigns, right? They're all targeting Miami and Broward, as you can see. And one big thing I want to highlight is local versus virtual wholesaling. And the biggest reason is, in the beginning, I'm guilty of this myself, we used to always preach going virtual, right? But the reason why we did that was because the type of clients we're working with, virtual wholesaling would work best because the cost per lead's cheaper, the cost per contract's cheaper, and the average assignment fee, it's all a volume game and it's also a lot cheaper, right? So because of that, whenever we're trying to bring on clients who want to spend the least and make money, going virtual is always the best option. But some of our most profitable and scalable clients are local because they're able to, for example, meet the sellers in person and get those deals closed at a higher percentage. They also know their market, they have the resources, they have the connections to be able to sell deals for bigger assignment fees. And again, this is their backyard. So the way that I break it down, especially when a wholesaler comes to me and asks me, hey, should I go virtual or should I go local? I always start with understanding why do you want to go local versus why do you want to go virtual, right? If you want to go virtual because you just want volume, just want to get deals in the door, and you want to get your deal volume high, go virtual. But if you know your backyard incredibly well, you have the systems and processes, you have a brand, a reputation in your market, and you know that the numbers can make sense, meaning you're willing to pay a bit of a higher acquisition cost in order to get a bigger assignment fee, then that's completely fine. For example, a lot of clients come to us in California. That's a very hot market for us. And one of the things I always set as an expectation, worst case, is a $3,000 to $5,000 cost per acquisition in California. Now, again, we have clients at less than that, but I just set that as an expectation because we've never worked together and I don't know what your closing skills and abilities / metrics look like. So if I talk with a wholesaler and I'm like, hey, the average cost per deal in California is $3,000 to $5,000, how do you feel about that? And if they tell me something along the lines of like, oh no, that's way too high or that's absolutely ridiculous, most of the time it's because they don't have the back-end systems and processes in place to justify an acquisition cost that high. On the contrary, if I bring that up to another wholesaler who knows his market well, who has the systems, who has the process, who has the connections, and I tell him, hey, the average cost per deal here is $3,000 to $5,000. He's like, okay, well, my average assignment fee is $30,000 to $50,000. That's at a 10x ROAS in some of the toughest market, in the toughest market in the entire country. He can justify that. And for him, the wholesaler, the investor that can pay more to acquire a deal and justify is always going to come out on top, right? Because if you look at most virtual wholesalers, I should say, they can spend $1,500 to get a deal, but their average assignment fee is only $10,000. So over time, the guy that's local, who knows his market, who has a bigger assignment fee and can justify that higher acquisition cost is ultimately going to come out on top. So if you're watching this, especially if you want to do PPC or any sort of online inbound marketing, if you're going for volume, go virtual. Your cost will go down, but your average assignment fee is going to be a lot lower and you're going to be playing the volume game. But if you know your market incredibly well, you have the systems, connections, and processes, as I discussed, in place, just like Jorge, just like all of our other local clients, stay local. You will eventually win and dominate. Again, this is just my advice, and this is the advice that we give to all of our clients. Now, with that said, we identified the markets. Let's talk about the platform. Obviously, we do PPC for top of funnel, and the biggest reason is the intent of the seller is a lot higher, right? If you think about the two most common top of funnel marketing channels for wholesalers, it's Facebook ads and Google PPC. Now, let's start by understanding the biggest difference between both of these channels. Facebook is a disruptive-based marketing platform. What do I mean by that? A disruptive-based marketing platform is you pay the platform and user, you, me, sellers, etc., are scrolling through our feeds and get disrupted by an ad. And if it aligns with what we're going through or something that we want, we'll click on it, fill out the form, whether it's a lead form or a landing page, and then become a lead. You're being disrupted. The ad is interrupting and disrupting the flow of the feed scrolling to attract leads. I'm not saying this doesn't work because we run both Facebook and PPC, but when it comes to top of funnel, nothing compares to Google PPC. And the reason why is because Google PPC is an intent-based marketing platform. What do I mean by this? Sellers have to go out of their way to go on Google, search up stop foreclosure in Miami-Dade, click on it, fill out a form, and wait for your phone call or call you directly. The psychology behind both of these sellers is completely different. This guy's just exploring and offer shopping. This guy needs help now, right? And this guy, the guy that is on PPC, the seller that's coming through PPC, is guaranteed to move faster and operate with more urgency than the dude on Facebook that's looking to offer shop. So any agency out there that's telling you, oh, Facebook ads is better than PPC, just take a step back and think about the psychology. It genuinely is really common sense, and it mind boggles me that I speak to wholesalers and they're like,
oh, I thought Facebook ads was better.
Yes, because you're optimizing for the wrong thing. If you want the cheaper marketing channel and you are willing to sacrifice quality on it, fine, go PPC. But if you're willing to play with the big ballers like Jorge, Grant, Brent, all these clients that you have and you see on my profile, that's where PPC comes in, especially for top of funnel. I'll leave it off with this one last thing, and I'll ask you this. Let's say you're in a house and I don't know, the pipe bust, right? Assuming you're not a plumber, are you gonna, number one, go on Facebook and continue to scroll through your feed until you get hit with a plumbing ad by a plumber? Or are you willing to go on Google and just search up plumber near me, click and call the dude, and understand that you're willing to pay a little bit more for the guy to come out for the convenience? 99.8% of the time, it's gonna be PPC. Why? Because it's intent. You are actively searching for a solution here, while over here, you're not, right? So that's why we do Google PPC as top of funnel, because in the past, we've done Facebook ads as top of funnel. It just didn't convert as high as PPC, which is why all the big ballers, all the big investors in the country are doing PPC. We have clients that are spending $60, $70, $80,000 per month on Google PPC alone. I can't think of a single wholesaler that spent more than $30K a month on Facebook ads. Finally, regarding this topic, let's talk about the campaign structure and strategy. There's a flow that we go through when it comes to optimizing and creating that quote unquote perfect campaign for Google PPC. And it all starts with our messaging. Like I said, and one of the funniest thing that I see is like, I'll say something and then now other agencies will just rip it and claim that they do it. And then when I check their ad accounts, they actually don't. Anyways, besides the point, this is me just being salty. Anyways, we always start with the messaging of our ads. The biggest thing that we do differently compared to every single other agency out there, no matter what they say, is that messaging. Other agencies focus on we buy houses, cash offer as is, sell your house for fast cash. And I'm not saying that messaging doesn't work. It's just a bit too outdated compared to what's working right now for us. For us, we run targeted motivations and pain points to going after people going through foreclosure, tired landlords, people who can't make their mortgage payments, people who are looking to relocate, looking to downsize, that are going through actual problems and pain points as opposed to the generic stuff. And as a result of this results in less competition and better metrics, right? So cost per lead, cost per click, all that stuff. And then from there, campaign structure. This is more so breaking down for like, cool, in the beginning when we launch, we have a testing campaign. And so we have two main campaigns. Starting out, we have a testing campaign, right? And then we eventually will have a scaling campaign, right? So within this campaign structure, in our testing, we have one campaign and then different ad groups. There we go. And then in these ad groups, there's obviously different ad groups, and then we have different keywords and ads, right? And because of that, we're able to split test and see exactly what clicks with the market and what doesn't. From there, once we find exactly what's working, so what ad groups, what keywords, which ads are getting us these conversions and MQLs, these marketing qualified leads we discussed earlier, we can then take budget from what's not working and reallocate that spend into what is working. That way we can scale our campaign. That's where the scaling campaign comes in. And then from there, over time, we're continually testing new messaging, new angles, new verticals in order to generate better quality leads more consistently. While your agency is just out there setting up a campaign and never touching it again, that's called lazy media buying. That's called not being proactive. That's why your campaigns work for 3 weeks and then it takes a shit, right? Because your agency doesn't actually check, doesn't test, doesn't optimize, and doesn't scale. So that's what we do when it comes to campaign structure. Keyword strategy we just talked about, which is very in similar alignment from messaging. But the biggest thing is that there's 3 main keyword strategies, right? There's broad match, there's phrase match, and then there's exact match. A lot of agencies like to run broad and phrase match. Why? Because it generates volume, not quality. As long as that cost per lead is low, they know that you might not complain, right? But for us, we focus on phrase match and exact match. And although the cost per lead on these are a little bit higher, so is the quality. And if you're closing deals 98% of the time, you're not gonna be coming to me complaining, right? And then the next thing is the landing page, right? Something important to understand is that the job of the ad is to sell the click. The job of the landing page is to convert that click into a lead. right? And then from there, your job is to convert that lead into revenue, a closed deal, right? The last thing you wanna do is mix that up so your entire marketing funnel is out of whack. And finally is the feedback loop. What is the feedback loop? It's very simple. When we generate a lead and we send it to you, because it goes directly to your CRM, it's not getting shared with anybody else, at least not at my company. We don't do that. Other agencies do, but that's their problem. For us, these leads go directly to you in your CRM. I don't care what you use, Simply, Podio, Salesforce, Zoho, I don't care. It goes to your CRM, you and your team work it, and then every single week you're gonna be sending us a data and a report as to what is working, which leads have closed, which leads in an MQL. That way we can go back into the campaigns and see exactly what's working and optimize and scale it from there. The biggest difference is that we treat marketing and sales as a cohesive relationship as opposed to two separate islands. That's where most agencies screw up and most wholesalers screw up. They think marketing and sales are two completely different islands and never talk to each other. But for us, the reason why we're able to get these type of results is because we merge them into one island and everybody's talking to each other. I know what marketing, or I know what sales is doing, sales knows what we're doing. So instead of us arguing and blaming each other, we work together to get deals. So with that said, let's go into the messaging a bit further, right? As I mentioned, a lot of other agencies run broad match, we buy houses campaigns. We focus on one ad set. I don't know why it's this campaign per pain point, right? So we have foreclosure, tied landlords, inherited, divorce, relocation, as is / code violations, right? And these, as you can see right here, are phrase and exact match. From there, broad match is Google matches anything loosely related. So the synonyms is what we call them. Phrase match, ad shows when the keyword / the phrase that we have is actually within the ad, and then exact match. But for us, we go a step deeper. There's long tail keywords. So more specific, adding the location in. That's how we get the highest quality leads possible. Yes, cost per click, cost per lead is a little bit higher, but when you're at a 12x ROAS, you cannot be complaining, nor will I let you complain, right? So there's that. Next thing, landing page, as we mentioned, we also have conditional logic. So I'll explain this here shortly. One of the things that we have that's actually really cool is that as opposed to just having a generic landing page like there, for our landing pages, we're able to have, obviously match the motivation. So this part's dynamic right here. So these two things are dynamic. And then this city is auto-filled with their IP. So if you go on one of our landing pages, especially for our clients, please don't, but I'm just telling you, we are able to see, and you can see where the motivation and the city and county is different based on where the seller's coming in from. That way they know that you and your business can serve their property. Dynamics basically rewritten per visitor, which results in a higher conversion, right? So here are a few of the things that we track on every single visitor. The more data points that we have, the more we're able to pinpoint exactly what's working, which variables to focus on, and then use that when it comes to optimize and scaling our campaigns. So that's the headline, the behavior, so time on page, drop off point. We also have heat maps, so we can see where the sellers are scrolling, where they stop and they read, where their fingers are, what they're clicking on, things like that. It really helps with CRO, which stands for conversion rate optimization. That way we can continually optimize the landing page over and over again. It's important to optimize the ads, yes, but if the landing page where the seller is actually visiting and submitting their information is shit, nothing matters. You have to focus on both, or at least we do, right? Devices, right? You may not know this, but 70% of the traffic that becomes leads comes purely through mobile. The issue is that whenever I see these landing pages from other agencies, they're all optimized for desktop, which is, good starting point, but their mobile version is absolute dog shit. And as a result, they wonder why they're celebrating an 8% conversion rate on their landing page. Like, that's not good, right? We want to be around 20 to 30%. That's where we aim to be, minimum 15% starting out. Added keyword, that's pretty much given. Location, right? We want to know where the best leads are coming from. This is more so for clients that are virtual, because if you're local, it's sort of easy. It's like, okay, is it Miami-Dade or is it Broward, right? And you can see that just by the address. And then tied to lead falls into the CRM, so we can see where everything comes down. And as you can see, here's what the feedback loop looks like in more detail. We're able to see what they clicked on, which combo of these variables right here, convert best, serve more of the winning landing pages, right? And then conversion rate over time increases, not only when it comes to landing page conversion rate, but the conversion rate from a lead to a deal as well, right? PPC is a long-term marathon, not a short-term sprint. If you want a short-term sprint, go work with an agency that doesn't optimize their campaigns and sit up and forget it a lot. If you need recommendations, I can point you that way as well. It's a joke, okay? You don't want that. Now, let's talk about the lead and sales workflow. I can tell you what his or he can sell you. So with that said, I'll let Jorge walk you through what his sales process looks like when he converts a lead into a deal.
So a lead came in this area, decently hot and up and coming area, okay, in South Florida. And automatically when a lead comes in, we have recently set up with a specific phone number for bulk deals, okay? And that phone number allows us to set up automations immediately. Okay. So that lead gets a text message, an intro from us. Hey, this is so-and-so. It depends who's on acquisition duties, but let's say, hey, this is the acquisition manager. You know, we're gonna reach out to you to discuss your property. Thank you for filling out the web form, whatever. Mm-hmm. They get an email. Okay, they get an email explaining the company, linking to our Google reviews, linking to Better Business Bureau. We do whatever we can to start building credibility off the bat. Okay, immediately. Like a hawk, right? Because if they're filling out one web form, they might be filling out another one when they're getting our emails. And then immediately within 60 seconds, that's our SLA, right? Within 60 seconds, we want to make sure we call them.
Yeah, so that's how Jorge converts leads to actual deals. As I mentioned here, let's talk about the marketing and sales relationship between us and the client in more detail. I talked about the 1 and 2 island approach and how marketing and sales is supposed to be a symbiotic relationship, but I also want to talk about singular versus paired metrics. Whenever we look at metrics, yes, they tell us the entire story only if we read them properly. So what do I mean by that? Whenever I look at a problem that we're trying to solve, a constraint, we have to look at 2 metrics, a volume metric and a quality metric. For example, if our cost per lead is low and our conversion rate is also low, that's a problem. Because to some people, everybody's happy with a low cost per lead, but if none of those leads convert into deals, it doesn't fucking matter. So for us, you have to pair both of these metrics. So our cost per lead / our lead to contract rate. If these both are within KPI, then great, we're on the right track. But if one is out of KPI, we got to figure out why that is, right? For example, going back to the original example, if our cost per lead is low and our conversion rate's also low, that means the leads that coming in, a lot of them, they all suck. So we have to find a way to improve the lead quality. Now we must understand that if we want to improve the quality, the cost of that lead is also going to increase. Now, if it increases to $1,000 cost per lead, that's probably going to be a big issue, right? So we have to find that even sweet spot between a conservative and healthy cost per lead and a healthy and conservative conversion rate on that lead, right? The way we do that is by having a mandatory end of week reporting, right? So every single week, we have meetings with their clients. Each of them have preferred schedules. Most of them are towards Wednesday to Fridays, and very few are on Mondays, right? So this is where we're able to see, okay, how much is spent, cost per lead, number of leads, how many of them are MQLs, cost per MQL, number of contracts, cost per contract, projected revenue, and average assignment fee. And it's also very, very sweet to see average assignment fees. So whenever a client sends us their average assignment fee and how many deals are closing, that's also very fun and a big win. And obviously, you know, it's always very, very good when a client sends us the deals that are closing. Nothing makes us happier than that. So when we see this, it's awesome, right? So this relationship where we both work together and we both talk to each other and we both know what we're working on that week is how we have successful relationship with our clients, where our clients don't look at us as another guy or girl or company that runs ads, but an actual asset to their company, right? And that's how we try and serve every single one of our clients, unlike other agencies where they maybe will give you an email, a support email, and you won't hear from them for 3 weeks. If you want to know who that is, you won't, because I'm not that type of guy. Anyways, scaling strategy. So ad spend, we'll start off with ad spend. One of the biggest things that we do differently when it comes to scaling ad spend, because great, a client signs on, they got proof, they got results, they got proof of concept. Now they want more of that. So how do we do that? There's horizontal versus vertical scaling. So what's the difference? Most agencies have one campaign and then they crank the budget up, right? So one campaign carries your entire business. You run into fatigue. If it breaks, your revenue goes straight to zero overnight, literally. If you want an example, think of when, I think it was 2 years ago, when A2P 10DLC rolled out and you were doing text messages, your business literally went away overnight, right? And then no data on actually what's working. So how we do it is horizontal scaling, right? So we have multiple buildings. If one dips, the other one carries. Each motivation/ad group has their own campaign with its own data. We're able to scale the winners, pause the losers with precision because again, we could see what's working, what's not, because we have a symbiotic relationship with our clients. And then same total spend, way more control and stability. Think of it as like driving a manual, right? Like a manual transmission car, you're in tune with the car. Yes, it's a little bit more work, but it feels a lot better. The payoff's way better, right? That's how we win, right? The scaling process, we launch our initial campaign, we find the winning variables, we build variations of that, we scale the winners, cut the losers. And we do that over and over and over again until you make too much money, right? Which from a lot of my clients, I haven't heard to be a problem. So, let's talk about the before and after scorecard. You've seen all this great stuff. You've seen where he was at before working with us, his entire life story. You see the problem his business was in. You saw the results that we were able to achieve him, how we got him these results. But you're like, Ben, that's great. You're amazing. Let me just see the numbers. And with that, here you go. So he signed up with us April 26th. His campaign went live towards the beginning of May. So I'd say 60 days. And then, so 10 days to go live. So I'll call this May to June 16th, which was when I got this data. So before, he was at a $27,000 average assignment fee, which isn't terrible, right? His biggest deal was $55,000, also not bad. His ad spend was $13,000 per month. His cost per deal was an astonishing $6,500. That's fucking nuts, right? So very high. He was only closing about $54,000 a month when his business was actually generating deals. And then for this campaign, he was at about a 3.6x ROAS. Now, only 60 days after working with us, we increased his average assignment fee by 70%, right? So take your average assignment fee and increase that by 70%. And I believe if your average assignment fee is like $10,000 right now, in 60 days, it went up to $17,000. You damn near double your average assignment fee, which means over time, you make 70% more money. Who's gonna say no to that? His biggest deal, as you saw, was $95,000. Now, call it a unicorn, whatever it is, but still great. Monthly ad spend, we cut it by 45%, so $13,000 down to $7,100. That's a 45% decrease in his marketing, right? His cost per deal also cut in half to around $3,500. You heard it from him directly as well. And his average monthly revenue went up by 70% to $91,000. ROAS, almost over 250% increase in his return on ad spend from a 3.6 all the way to a 12.7x return. It really doesn't get better than that, right? If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what the hell will, right? So where else we got here? We got revenue. This is great. That's where his business is at before. 14K in, 182K out in Miami-Dade, Florida. That's the scorecard. This is ultimately like what matters, and this is why I love doing these videos, because I get to see this and I'll be like, damn, this is great, right? Let's keep on doing this. So let's talk about why it worked, right? We talked about what happened, how we did it, but I also want to talk about why it worked and the common denominator that we have across all of our successful clients. And to give you context, for the month of June, last month, we're at a 91% client success rate, which I define as a client with above a 4x return on their ad spend. Meaning for every $10,000 they're putting into ad spend, their company's generating $40,000 out, right? 91% of those clients. First things first, establish an experienced operator. Jorge, in our eyes, is not a beginner. He's closed deals before, he's done marketing, he's put money behind it. He is not a beginner. On top of that, he's also got a partner, right? Who's also a realtor as his closer. An amazing team. And obviously, as you know, because he's a director of cybersecurity as his main 9-to-5 job, leadership, leading a team, especially a high performance team, is not a problem. That's literally what he does every day, right? The second thing is he had a real team, right? They got a CRM. They use RE Simply. Love RE Simply because it's so easy to integrate with. And he has a sales process before we ran a single ad because he was already closing some deals. He just needed more fuel to the fire. As Jorge would say, PPC is gasoline on fire. If there's no fire, you're just pouring gasoline on the ground. Jorge already had the fire. Second thing is the money model. On our initial call, whenever he scheduled a call with us, we validated the math before we scaled it. If the math doesn't make sense, you probably shouldn't do it, right? It's like a flip deal. Like we basically, the term I have is we underwrite your marketing. It's like, let's say you're about to buy a flip, right? And you underwrite the property and the number looks like shit. You probably shouldn't do it. And if you decide to do it, guess what happens? The deal doesn't go through on top of all the bullshit that happens with flipping. Bad idea. But when you underwrite a deal properly and the numbers make sense, you make money. It's crazy how that concept works. Do the same thing for your marketing. It's not that hard, right? All right, so on direct mail, as you saw, his cost per deal was $6,500 at a $27,000 average assignment fee for a 3.6x return. It was profitable, but tight, but starving his closers. We proved that PPC in month 1 got him a $2,000 cost per deal because that's pretty much all he was spending at a 12.2x ROAS. And then in 60 days, we got that up to $182,000 with $14,000 spent at a 12.7x ROAS. We don't scale broken math. We proved it worked, and then we poured into it. Third thing is horizontal versus vertical scaling. We have multiple campaigns, multiple ad groups, multiple messaging, as opposed to a generic ad, right? So over time, if one dip, we're able to rely on the other campaigns for his business. 4, symbiotic relationship between marketing and sales, right? Number 1, his speed to lead is 60 seconds. Every single lead, as you saw, it goes to its WhatsApp, it goes to his entire team, they see it. And then every deal and every lead outcome, we're able to see that data and feed it back to Google to train their AI and their algorithm as to what's working and what's not. We also have daily communication in Slack, not just one weekly check-in, but almost every single day we're talking to them to see what's working, and we don't find out if something's broken way too late. One other small piece of advice, whenever you're working with an agency, treat them as a partner, right? They'll like you more. When you share your wins with them, they will highlight them and they will feel more motivated to get you the result, right? Because, and I will be honest with you guys, there are clients where they don't talk to us at all and they pay us, and I'm assuming they're getting good results because that's what I see on their deal board, right? So it's like, cool, you pay it, that's a transactional relationship. We do what it takes to just keep the client on and keep their ads running. That's great. But then there's clients like these where we like to go above and beyond because they give us that validation, they give us that feedback that something's actually working. So if you decide to partner with an agency, share your wins. Because if you don't share your wins, nobody's gonna know it's working. And then one day, if you wonder why this client is like, you know, Ben's hanging out with him and taking him to the gun range and all this shit, and this guy, you never hear or get invited to any of these things, it's probably why, right? There's meeting a standard, meeting an expectation, which is, yes, getting these results, but then there's building a friendship and a relationship with your partner on top of that. This is something I've been hesitant to share, but this is something that I've seen has been brought up internally because some clients have asked me about it, right? So this is my piece of advice. Just treat them as a partner as opposed to just a vendor. You get special treatment. Nobody's gonna say no to that, right? And I'm not the only agency that will say this. Every single agency will say this. And then the final thing, incredible leadership and team culture. Jorge leads with data and people's mindset, and his team is incredibly well. And the reason why I say this is because in any company, the problem always comes to you, right? You are the final person that your entire team looks up to for direction, right? If they know something's wrong, but you're not doing anything to fix it, they're probably gonna eventually give up. But if they see you going out of your way, fighting for a solution, and they are loyal to you, they will trust you and find a way to support you. That's what happened with Jorge when he was in his dry spell, and you can hear from him directly in this podcast. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got value out of it and understood what it took to scale Jorge this aggressively in such a short amount of time. Now, if you like this video, I highly recommend you check out the podcast that we did with him in person. I flew out to Florida to do a podcast with them because I promise you, you will get even more value hearing it from Jorge directly. And finally, if you are an investor, you're an established operator, that you fit this checklist, you have your systems and processes in place, and you know that the final thing you need to do in order to scale your wholesaling business is proven and qualified inbound marketing with the right marketing partner, there should be a link in the description. Click on it, schedule a call with either me or a member of my team, and I'd love to sit down and walk you through exactly what the system would look like in your business, in your markets, with your number. With that said, my name is Benjamin, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.